Hey guys, how's it going? We're here for another Q&A. It's been another good week, and I got a good week coming for you guys. This week we got so much done. That was crazy. Got all of that concrete removed, put in the back alleyway, and did the new layout for the plan. I can't believe that we moved that fast on that. We were so sorry. Let's get into it because we're outside and it's still a little bit toasty, and there's still some smoke in the air. Super weird. We just had a rainstorm come through. You guys will see that in tomorrow's video. We just had a random rainstorm come through. It was the weirdest thing ever. We were outside filming a video, and all of a sudden it started sprinkling, and I was like, do you feel that? And Burm was like, no. And then it started raining. And it's like 102 while it was raining, which is the weirdest thing ever. We don't get random rainstorms in the summertime. So you'll see tomorrow's video is going to have rain towards the end of it. So the last week we did the Q&A of how close are the fires to you, the back porch planter refresh, removing all walkways. It's all done, removing the walkways. At long last, I have my garden mirror, and here are the new garden plans. Busy week. That was crazy. That was a lot of projects. And update on the fires. At this point, they're still not out. I think it's at like 25% containment or something like that. And it's at like 400,000 acres. It's insane. So we're not in any danger still. It's just the air is so smoky. It's literally like, it's hurting my eyeballs. They're super red because of all the smoke. But we're all clear where we're at. We're super safe. It was a good week. We were able to get things done. We just kind of like would go inside for a little bit, chill, and come back out, get project done for a couple hours, and go back in for a couple hours. And that's kind of what we've been doing, just to be smart. So first video, there was only one question on the Q&A, and it was from Vicky, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, stay safe with the fires. Have you tried adding a couple pennies to your fountain to prevent algae? This is the first year I've tried it, and it seems to be working. Safe for the birds too." We actually have added copper, not copper pennies, but we added, I heard you have to add pennies that are like past a certain year or something like that. So what we did is where the water comes out on our fountain, we added tubing of copper, and so the water runs through it. Every bit of water runs through that copper, and the water has stayed so clear all of a sudden. The fountain still has some like algae growing on it, but the water is like crystal clear, and it's been days of over 100 degrees, and the water hasn't like thickened up or turned really gross. So the copper actually works really well, especially if we're getting the water to like run through the copper, which has been really nice. So I highly recommend that. If you have like a fountain that has like water going through it, do some copper. The next video that we did was the back porch planter refresh, and it still looks so good. Even part of it has put out some new growth, so I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I know very little about that plant. It's much higher zones only. I guess a lot of you guys are seeing that Linda Vodder, she uses that plant a lot. I don't watch anybody on YouTube, so I don't know what anyone's doing anymore. I should probably go watch some first, because I know she has a ton of topiaries, a ton of like table topiaries and everything like that, so I should check out what she's doing. First question on that video is from Beat, and they had said, "Why don't you just cut the dry foliage and transplant the root ball of those plants into your garden?" Long story short, I just didn't want to. It's too hot to like transplant a lot of things, and if I had to do a super hard cutback, I don't know, they probably wouldn't have came back, and it was hot. I was over it. I didn't care. Long story short. The next question on that video is from T Wild, and they had said, "Looks so great. Have you guys ever thought about getting a screen door for your back door? When we replace the door, I would like to get a screen door, because we do like to have the doors open at times, especially in like the spring and the fall. Honestly, most of the winter time we do, but the bugs here are gross. So when we replace the door, yes." The next question on that video was from Farmhouse on State Street, and they had said, "Love the new look of the planter. Why don't you just paint the door a dark color till you replace it? The dark color will hide the dirt from the dogs. Everything looks so classy." That was actually the last question on that video that I'm gonna pull. And the reason, we used to actually have it a dark color, and this sounds so weird, but the dark color, the mud, just like, it looked like it was like glowing on it, because it was a really dark color, and the mud would dry a lighter color, and it just like glowed. It really like, it stood out really bad. It's really frustrating that the dogs do that. I don't know how to stop them from doing it. they're jerks. And honestly, I just don't even want to spend the time until we replace it. I don't want to even like waste the paint on that door. I hate that door so much, and it's such a weird size. And within the next like year and a half, we want to move. 2 years we want to move, and so within the next year and a half, it needs to be replaced anyways. So I just don't want to waste my time. That would be, you know, a couple hours wasted that I could have spent on anything else. The next video that we did was removing all of our walkways. It's so weird. It's so weird. The first question on that video was from a friend, and they had said, was the jackhammer super heavy? I'm wondering if I could manage it. It was really heavy. This is not something, like, if you have to like question it, I probably wouldn't do it. It was pretty heavy. I mean, while you're using the jackhammer and it's in place, super easy. It just like pounded itself right into the ground. But when you have to pick it up and move it, and you have to move it over and over and over again, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, it gets really heavy. It's really exhausting. The next question on that video was from Dorothy Dunn, and she had said, whoa, Robbie and Brent, what a major undertaking. Did y'all have ear protection? We did not. It wasn't very loud at all, actually. It was actually surprisingly not loud at all. We just didn't have ear protection. I mean, probably should have anytime you're using anything like that, but no, we didn't. It wasn't loud. The next question on that video is from Taryn, and she had said, I can't wait to see the new phase of your garden. The plan sounds amazing. Also, how are you wearing a sweatshirt in the summer? Here in SoCal, the temps and humidity are awful. I'm counting down the days until we have sweater weather. We had the weirdest little break. It was so strange. We had nights that were getting down into the 60s, and like our daytime temp was in the like mid 90s. It was amazing. So we had this little break, and it was just fabulous. And I was able to wear a hoodie in the morning, because in the mornings it was still only like 68 degrees. It was perfect. And there was like low humidity. I think we were in the 20% or something like that. And now it's all gone, and we're at like 40% humidity and 104, 5. No more hoodies. The next question on that video is from Nita, and she had said, such hard work. You and Brent are great at man things. You guys can do anything. Question, are you going to cover the new deck for shade? Your willow is magnificent. We are going to, so we're trying to still figure out if we're going to do a patio or a deck, and we want to cover at least a good portion of it. Like at minimum, what we currently have needs to be covered. If not, most of it needs to be covered. We just need protection from that hot afternoon sun. So yes, there will be shade. We're either gonna have to build a custom like gazebo, or we'll have to just find a large type of gazebo that we can order that's like an aluminum one or something like that. So yes, there will be shade back here, and there will be power, and there will be fans, and otherwise it's just too hot. The next question on that video was from RC, and they had said, hi Robbie, question. I'm confused as to why you were doing major changes if you were going to move. I understand you need to create content, but this seems major. Maybe the move is just a fantasy. It's not a fantasy. We will be moving. And this is something that we have been talking about doing for about 2 years now. So we wanted to like come up with other plans, and we've lived with the garden for a couple years now, and we've had this exact design in our mind for about 2 years at this point. And with that design, we've tried during the last 2 years to come up with other designs also to see if we liked anything else. This is the layout that we've seemed to like the best. And now we were ready to share it with you guys. And moving is not the fantasy. And at the end of the day, yes, I do need content to create for you guys. Otherwise, I would have to go down to probably 1 to 2 videos a week. And when we sell this house, I'm sure that it's not going to be everyone's, cup of tea with all the plants and all of the gardening, but we want to be able to do it and do it right. And while I'm here, I don't care. We got the house at such a good deal that I'm not worried about return on investment. I'm here to enjoy the property is what it is. And I can promise you there is nobody who's going to have a garden in this area that's going to look like mine. And so I want this to feel like you can come back here and it's its own oasis. And for the new homeowners, whoever it's going to be, I want it to feel special. And so a giant chunk of lawn in the middle with 2 long beds isn't special. So that's it. Yes, we're doing it for content, and we are also doing it because we have been thinking about this long before we even had the channel. And the last question on that video is from Yorkie, and they had said, wouldn't it be easier to hire a small dumpster for the concrete? That is what we've been running into issues with. So we can load up the car and we can take concrete to our landfill for free. It doesn't cost us a dime if we take it there. If we hired a dumpster from our local yard waste company, they said it was gonna be like $1,200 to remove the concrete. So we won't be hiring the dumpster from the local place, they would drop it off and they would take it. And they said that it had to be under a certain weight limit, which I'm like, I don't know how to weigh that. Do I have to like weigh each piece individually? Okay. And then we were looking, okay, well, do we just buy a trailer? Because we would be able to use it for getting soil, we would be able to use it for getting plants, we would be able to use it to remove the concrete, pick up things that we needed to pick. And if we got a trailer, we would want to buy one that's a dump trailer, which would be probably a couple grand. And so we decided to either do that, or we're going to rent a dump trailer just from Home Depot, which I think is like a couple $100 for a day, and we'd have to rent it for probably close to a week. So we're still trying to figure it out. We haven't figured it out. I don't know. The next video that we did was all done removing sidewalk day 2. And it felt so good to get it all done. I thought it was gonna be like a 3-4 day project, but we were able to come out and film early the next morning and just kind of get things done. And there wasn't a whole lot left, and I just needed to get it all done. The next question on that video is from Dee Marie, and they had said, have you thought about staining the concrete outside of the birdhouse? Would be a pretty transition once you step off of it into mulch or river rock to pretty up once you are complete. I hadn't thought about it, but it's actually probably a really good idea. Whatever we decide to do for ground cover, I will do something that matches like if we do stone or if we do mulch or whatever we do, I will probably end up staining that whatever color we ended up like going with ground cover. That's actually a really good idea. The next question on that video is from Fabric and Flowers, and they had said, where is the rooster? Haven't heard it in the last couple videos. Your yard is looking great. Can't wait to watch it change with you. The rooster is still there. He's actually due to be a dad soon. The chicken, they have one chicken that's laying on a bunch of eggs right now. And so she's set to have some chickens, some babies, some chicks pretty soon. So he's just doing dad duties, you know, prepping. And the last question on that video is from Carol, and she had said, have you thought about putting on Facebook Marketplace to see if anyone wants it free to haul away? Someone could use it for filler. I had not thought about that, but we're going to try it. Even if somebody comes and takes like one load, that is one less load that we have to deal with. So we are going to try putting it on Facebook just to see if anybody will come pick it up. Something is touching me. It's a leaf. Okay. Yes, we're going to try that. Hadn't thought about it. Love you guys for all the suggestions that you guys always give, because there are a lot of things we wouldn't have thought about. The next video that we did was finally, at long last, I have my garden mirror, and I'm happy to report there have been 0 fires at this moment caused by the mirror. First question on that video was from Crunchy Mama, and they had said, so amazing, would you link the mirrors and the paint sprayer? I would love to recreate this. I will link both, hopefully, if I forget. Mirrors are from Amazon, they're 4" by 4". And the paint sprayer is from Home Right, also from Amazon. That's the brand, and we've had that paint sprayer for 8 years now. Best paint sprayer ever, cheapest paint sprayer. Highly recommend it. The next question on that video is from Diane, and she had said, wow, looks great. How do you come up with these ideas? Pinterest is my best friend. That is where I try to only get a inspiration for things from. I try really hard to not, like I said, I try not to watch other people that are doing YouTube because I don't want to copy anybody. I don't want to steal anyone's ideas. I mean, for the most part, it's gardening, so things happen with the season. And there's a lot of us that are on the same season, and a lot of us don't seem to have the exact same taste. There's only so many options in gardening. So I try not to watch what everyone else is doing because I don't want it to, I don't want to say inspired by that, but I don't want to copy it. And so I try to just look on Pinterest for things. And the mirror that I had found, the grid that I did on the top part went from the top all the way to the bottom. So it just looked like lattice work. And I decided to just do half that and then add the door lower half and the door handle to it. So a lot of my things come from Pinterest. The next question on that video is from Jamie, and she had said, very cool question. If the sun reflects off of it, can it start a fire? I would say absolutely. So ours is somewhere where it only really gets like a little bit of morning sun. It's also reflected at kind of like down a little bit, so the sun doesn't directly like hit any of the panels, and we've been keeping a super close like eye on it. And we're at the time of year that like if anything were to start reflecting off of it, we would see it, just the way the sun is positioned. So we are all good. If you're like nervous about it, I would just plant it somewhere where it's like, not plant it, I would place it somewhere that it is north facing, so that way the sun just never even hits it. Or make sure that it's like under trees or something like that, somewhere where it's in deep shade. If that is something that makes you a little nervous, I'm not super nervous about it, because we are keeping a close eye on it. The next question on that video is from Nita, and she had said, that is ingenious. What glue did you use for the mirrors? If you had painted the door the same color as the shed, it would have looked like a shed door. We used liquid nails. Super strong stuff, super easy stuff, and it's like a couple bucks for a giant tube of that stuff. The next question on that video is from Sheila, and she had said, okay, silly question. Why didn't you build the mirror flat on the ground and then place it in, and then put it in place? Just a question, not judging. No silly questions. We did that because I wanted to make sure that it was level on the top and our ground isn't super level. So that was one reason. And then another reason was because we were using the cement board. It's really heavy, and I didn't want to build it and then bend it and have it break or pop mirrors off or just snap anything. So that's another reason we built it in place. I also just wanted to build it in place so I could make sure the height was exactly where I wanted and the width was exactly where I wanted. It was just more like, we're gonna build this in place as we go, just so I can get everything visually how I want it. Other than that, I think if I had just used like a piece of plywood, I probably just would have just built it directly on the ground and then just moved it directly in place. But we use the cement board, which is super cheap compared to plywood, and it can be outside. And the next video that we did, which was the last video, was the garden layout, and it's looking good. I'm glad I figured out that little transition piece like right here, because yeah, I don't know, it didn't compute until I saw the thing and I was like, wait, that's lawn up to lawn. That makes no sense at all. First question on that video is from Suzanne, and she had said, how exciting. Will the backwards sea garden be a berm? It will give more privacy for seating area. Yes, it will be a berm. I need to figure out what exactly we're doing with it. Brent and I, we were like talking last night, and I kind of came up with this idea because I want to use the edge-right metal edging. They have some metal edging, I think that's 14 inches tall. So I want to do like a lower section that's 14 inches tall, and then I want to get another 14 inches, and I want to place that inside the bed. So it would be like a shallow bed, and then there'd be like another raised section that's 14 more inches tall. So it'd be a pretty tall bed, like 28 inches tall. Actually, it would be less than that because the 14 inches need to be shrunk down into the ground a little bit. But it would be bermed up a little bit. I do want to do some type of berm just to give it more privacy. So yes, and I think I'm going to try to see if we can use all of the edge-right metal edging for it, just because I really love the way that stuff looks. The next question on that video was from the joiner style, and they had said, where is the area for the dogs? Well, as of right now, the dogs will have an entire area right in front of the aviary. Well, I mean, right now they have everywhere, but the design layout is they will have the entire aviary, and then also all the walkways. As of right now, we're just gonna be grass. So they will have all of that. And if we're being honest, Sadie is not super active, and Freya only wants the ball thrown a couple times, and we could just throw it down the walkways. The next question on that video is from Grant, and he had said, how do you water your grass? Will you be hand watering the pathways? Currently, we hand water all of our grass. We have some like small sprinklers that are set up that go off, and we just have a timer on those. But we are going to be doing inline irrigation for all of the pathways. So I think we're pretty set on grass as of right now. I mean, it's not 100%. We're not planning on doing any of the trenching until fall time. So we have some time on that. But we will be putting in, if we do decide to do grass pathways, we'll just be putting in irrigation. So we'll have sprinklers everywhere. So that way we don't even need to worry about it, because that's not something that I want to just move a sprinkler around the entire grass pathway. The next question on that video was from Bonnie, and she had said, what about water restrictions? I'm afraid to plant up too much on my 1/3 acre in San Diego. Where we're at, we don't get water restrictions. One of my neighbors is on the water board, and she has told us that the county that we are in, so we control our own water. We have our own water well, and our water table is super shallow, so we have water like readily available at all times. So we've never been on a water restriction, and she said that she doesn't ever really see us going on a water restriction. So where we're at, I don't worry about it. We're also like 3 minutes from the Sacramento River, so we always have a ton of water just like right where we're at. If I was somewhere where I was on water restrictions like that, I probably would start looking at like water-wise plants. Or if I'm doing irrigation, I would have black tubing ran everywhere and then put individual emitters to each plant like Janie is doing, because she's on a well, and so she is also worried about water. But I'm not worried about it, and so we use brown tubing that has irrigation like put in every 12 inches. So I would either start looking at more water-wise plants, or if you want plants that are not water-wise, I would just do that individual emitter. The next question on that video was from Connie, and she had said, hi Robbie, when you come up with ideas or spur of the moment decisions, do you sit and discuss the issue ideas together, and how does Brent feel about all of the work that has been created to the yard so far? Okay, so this plan we have been discussing for years now. We were actually going to put it in 2 years ago before we got married. We were going to do this just over 2 years ago, and then we decided not to. We just left the grass because we wanted to get married, and we wanted to get married under the willow tree, and we had the wedding back here. So this has been a plan that has been thought through for years. We've already actually laid it out just like this about 2 years ago. We sprayed it on the lawn. It wasn't, we didn't do all of it because we still had some of the walkways in. So we're pretty confident on this. This is not just a like spur of the moment plan. This is a like very, very long time coming garden plan design. I hope that makes sense. So there's very few things that are super spur of the moment that are more permanent, if that makes sense. I mean, I have a video that I've been working on, getting it filmed for 3 weeks now. The cement project. Yeah, I've got videos that I've been working on for weeks because I do a lot of plant shopping that's spur of the moment, and I buy plants that are spur of the moment. But there's a lot of things that are not spur of the moment that are around here. I know it seems like it because they happen so fast on camera. A lot of things are thought through, I promise. The last question on that video was from Taryn, and she had said, do you have Bermuda grass? If so, I'm not understanding how you and Janie are able to get rid of it, even with the cardboard compost mulch lasagna. I have Bermuda grass, Janie has Bermuda grass. I do a lot of hand pulling. When we bought this place, our side yard where the lion fountain is was Bermuda grass, and where the apple espalier was Bermuda grass. Our front lawn was Bermuda grass. I've done a ton of hand pulling, and I used to just sit there for hours and hand pull it. And I mean, when our vegetable garden, that was also Bermuda grass, and that I did some hand pulling, and then I put like 4 inches of mulch down and it smothered it out. And I mean, I go to Janie's house and I see like, I mean, you see occasional pieces that pop up for sure that can make it, but then you just go pull those random pieces and it like cuts the time down that you need. So it's not going to 100% eradicate the problem, but it is going to cut it down and help initially start solving the issue. Thick mulch helps, hand pulling helps, and the cardboard definitely helps. So I'm going to be doing the cardboard just in that backward C area, just because I don't want to hand pull all of that. So it does help, I promise. You need to, it can't just be like 1 inch of compost and like 1 inch of mulch. It needs to be like thick. Like we're talking like, I'm gonna bring in like 12 to 14 inches of soil. So I'm gonna do cardboard, 12 to 14 inches of soil. The pieces that do end up making it through that, I will hand pull, and it'll probably take a while for me to like 100% eradicate it, but I should be able to get on top of it. That's exactly what we did in the apple espalier bed. And I used to see, you know, occasional pieces pop up, and I would hand pull it, and now I don't deal with it in that bed at all. And then I do want to say a quick thank you to Beer Alley. You always leave great comments, and I actually pinned your comment on this video because it was a lot of really good advice, and I think we're going to follow a good amount of it. I'm not going to read everything, but she said, please allow me to guide you before spray painting. And she had basically given, you know, make your wish list, fly a drone to capture it, make plans, make copies of the plan, draw it all out, get your lighting, make a plan for lighting, make a plan for watering. And so I think that we're going to figure out how we can get our hands on borrowing a drone and get an aerial shot, so that way we can figure out exactly where we want all of our lighting to go, where we want our water spigots to go. Because we were just going to do it from the ground and just kind of figure it out, but I think if we had like an overview shot with a drone, and we could just do layers, and we could just be like, okay, this is where we want all our lighting, this is where we want our water, this is where we want everything, this is where we want a tree. It's gonna help out so much. So thank you for your comment, because that was actually super helpful. And I mean, it looks like a bunch of other people have already liked it, and quite a few people also replied saying that it was a really good idea. All of your ideas that you had listed, all 5 of them. So thank you for that, and thank you to everyone else who always leaves comments. You know, I appreciate ideas. I don't love when people are pushy. So anybody who leaves ideas who are helpful and like kind about it, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. We're going to go inside. I've been sitting out here for 36 minutes now is what the camera says, and it is toasty. So we're gonna go inside. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for visiting our garden, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.